Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. Now if you are new here, do consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Now today I'm going to show you how to create a particular shot from this video that I've recently created. Okay, so the shot in particular which we're going to go through today is the one at the very end of the video where we had the product, where we had the shoe just rotating in a 360 degrees fashion. So what I'm going to do is show you how I shot it, and secondly how I edited it. So let's get over to the studio and I'm going to show you how I shot it first of all. Okay, so now we are in the studio and I'm just going to show you the setup for this particular shot. So I'm going to run through it. I'm keeping it as simple as possible without using too much gear. What we have is a blue background, and I'm using blue because we have green already on the shoe, so I won't be able to use the green side. It's dual-sided, so it's better to use the blue, so when we key out we don't have any issues in post-production later on. The second thing I have, it's the Canon 5D with the 50mm lens, and I'm shooting at 24 frames per second in full HD. So that is pretty much the technicals for here. In terms of lighting, I'm using natural lighting today. This is the sun coming in from behind the product, which is lighting both the product and the background together. So now we're giving the product a spin. Ideally, what I would want is for this to have a smooth 360 degrees rotation in this plane, but as you can see, we're having a lot of bounce and jiggle with this, and that is probably due to the weight of the product with respect to the size of the wire that I'm using here. So for me to get around this, I'm going to have to try to reduce or eliminate some of that jitter and some of that vibration. So what I'm doing here is just taking the slack up with my hand and just hold it there, because that is pretty much it for the shot. Now we're going to take this back into the computer, into post-processing to continue. Okay, so not so long ago I did a tutorial, a sort of a breakdown behind the scenes of how I created a product video, and I'm going to link that above if you haven't seen that one yet. And that video has had a lot of engagements, it's had a lot of comments, but one of the things that kept coming up was that, yeah, that was, you have a lot of gear and you've been you're using a lot of gear to do X, Y, and Z. And to be honest, there was a lot going on in that particular video. There were so many techniques that I went through that needed, certain lighting setups and certain bits of equipment that I needed to use. So today I wanted to make this one as simple as possible. So I've gone and used, the most basic and simplest of equipment to create this shot for you guys. So let's jump into the editing and finish the creation of that particular shot. Okay guys, so now we are in Premiere Pro, and I've gone through and I've selected the bit of footage that I'd like to use and added it to the timeline. So what I'm going to do now is key out this image so I can isolate the product from the background itself. My preference is to use After Effects, so I'm just going to go ahead, right click on this, replace with After Effects composition. That's going to open up in an After Effects project. So we have our footage right here on the timeline. And the first thing that we're going to do, or the first thing that I like to do, is just to create a mask. So I'm just going to select my pen tool and draw around the product roughly. Okay, so now we have a rough mask selected around the object. What I'm just going to do is scrub through the whole footage just to make sure that I have not clipped any part of that image or the object that I want. Okay, that's looking good. So what I'm going to do now is add the key light effect. So let's drag that and drop it onto the footage. And now we have our key light effect control, which we're going to be using to key out this image. So I'm just going to run through this kind of quickly, guys, because the process depends on the application that you are using. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the color that I want to key out. So I'm going to come here for a sort of a mid tone. So we have a darker blue, we have a lighter blue, and we're just going to select sort of something in the middle. I'm just going to change the view to screen matte so we can fine tune this a little bit better. And we're going to the screen matte palette. And what I'm going to do here is just What I'm going to do is adjust the clip black setting until we have the outside fully black but not too far. Then I'm going to go down to the clip white and I'm going to bring that down so that my object itself is almost fully white, and just about there is fine. Let's see the final result for that. Okay, so if I just scrub through here, and I can see along the edges of this object we're still seeing some of the blue, and I just want to reduce some of that. So what I'm going to do is shrink the screen, or shrink this using this slider right here. Just drop it down a touch so we lose that blue edge right there. So you know, we sort of have a final result and we're looking kind of good. What I'm going to do is save that and head back to Premiere Pro. So now we're back in Premiere Pro. If we just play that through, we have our object and it's just spinning, and what we can do is affect so many different parameters for this. What I'm going to do quickly is just put a speed ramp on here. If we go to timer mapping and ramp the speed, what I'm going to do is speed up the first third of this video. So at this point you pretty much have full creative control over this this particular image. You can affect the scale, the position, the rotation, you know, add keyframes to make it do pretty much whatever you want it to do on the screen at this point. And one of the coolest things about this right now is that you can apply any background you want. You can apply a still photograph, you can apply any colors that you want, you can apply video to the back of this and just have a lot of fun with it. Okay, so let me just show you what I'm talking about really quickly. So I have a video that I'm going to pull, and I'm going to put this underneath where the product is, underneath that on the timeline, and you know, just to add a little bit of spice, a little bit of flavor, and just to complement this product, because what's happening, we have some geometric hexagons in the back just growing, and you know, just having a bit of movement in the background. What I probably want to do though is just reduce the opacity of the background so that the product, you know, pops even more. And yeah, like I said, you can do anything that you really want to do with this. So that is about it for today, guys. If you found this useful, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you use this technique or if you use another technique to achieve the same result, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.